Hi guys, it's Man of War here. All we do is war. Welcome back to the Three Kingdoms Let's Play. So starting off, I'm going to select my main character. I think I'm going to go with a tried and true character that I'm very much used to. It's probably the easiest start off in the game in my personal opinion. That character would be Sun Jian.
To honor yourself.
Sun Jian has
I'm
never
just gonna let the
shied away
narrator
from
play through.
opportunity. And despite his loyalties, the fall of the Imperial Court presents great opportunities.
So with Sun Jian, he has a large, diverse specialty character pool. Most of which towards the end, if you can keep them alive, because most of the family does end up dying. If you can keep them alive, most of them end up being vanguards and just massacre people on basically a high level. Now, since Creative Assembly added the southern tribes into the mix, the south is no longer theirs to take control of early on in the game. It's not easy to contend with, especially Mulu and Menghuo. They get fairly aggressive early on in the game, so not really having anybody to trade with, Sun Jian usually has a lot of money problems early on in the game, but they also have the best setup for if you're going to specialize your settlements. So, enough of me chatting. Let's get into it.
Embers rise, stark against the night. The tyrant Dong Zhuo wields the flames of destruction. Luo Yang burns. Chaos ignites as the power of the eunuchs is crushed. In the pyre, the Han falters. Yet hope endures in those brave enough to resist. Sun Jian puts the future of his family before his own. Bravery is strength. Let tyrants fear the tiger. China is in turmoil. The great empire of the Han, stretching back ages beyond counting, is being devoured by corruption. The Yellow Turbans, thousands strong, began raising their banners in rebellion and seizing commanderies across the realm. In response, generals loyal to the emperor rose up and put down the rebellion. The fire rises, my lord, and Luo Yang crumbles.
Dong Zhuo, I vow you will see justice by my hand.
He has moved west, with the young emperor in his charge. He will leverage all the remaining Han power against us.
Let him try. I have never shied away from a fight.
Such zeal is admirable, my lord. But may I caution patience if we are to have victory?
Perhaps Yan Shu can be relied upon to aid us. He has qualms with his brother, but I will take any noble friend in these dire times. As Master Sun says, the expert must seek his victory. I cannot throw away my shot.
The tiger of Jiandong must howl once more, my lord, so that all of China may hear the call.
Alright guys, we're back into it. So, Sun Jian has a very unique start in the sense that he does not start in his home province, he starts away from it. Now, it depends on what starting items I got with this, but let's just take a quick look, see what I got. So, he always starts off with the Imperial Jade Seal, and he's also got his most reliable warrior, Huang Gai. I apologize if I mispronounce anything. I'm not the best with Chinese names. I try my best. Anyway, the Jade Seal is one of the best ancillaries in the game, especially early on because of the amount of prestige that it brings. So, as per usual, toss that on Sun Jian. And the first battle is an easy one, but I always fight it so I can save as many troops as humanly possible. The auto-resolve is not as forgiving as you might think. So, let's just get in it.
The wise general is the Lord of Destiny. He holds the nation's peace or peril in his hands. Brave warriors of the South, we hold the fate of China in our hands. We must forge onwards, as China can only know peace through bravery, honor, and loyalty.
The amount of times that I have heard that quote, and yet it still never gets old. That's one of my favorite parts about this game, is that they have really good quotes from all of the specialty characters. They always have something interesting to say. It's not always applicable depending on which main character we're talking about, but for the most part, it's still pretty immersive in my opinion. So you'll notice a lot in my playthroughs that I might be too accustomed to pausing because I'm not used to recording my gameplay. So if I do pause, I wholeheartedly apologize. I'm also one of those people that go with a pretty basic formation, especially with this early fight. This is by and far one of the easiest ones to do. So basically what's going to happen here is I'm going to move the archers and the rest of my troops up in one swift motion. One guy's probably going to engage the other general in a duel just to hold him down. And then we're basically just going to massacre their troops because these arrows will run through just about anything without a shield. So let's do it. Okay. I'm also going to move my cavalry out to the side because they will just crush the archers in the back once the front troops are engaged. And like I expected, he's going to engage the general.
I did not think it possible to be this terrible! Your words are spineless, and so are you!
Also, let me know in any future videos if the audio is too loud. I can turn that down. Now, his troops are not going to know what to do. They're just going to keep circling until they can't anymore.
You speak well for an infant!
Archers, attend! Archers, and fly! The time has come! Stand by, Axis! Kill them!
At the ready! March quickly! Hurry, move!
And I'm just going to throw Sun Jian right in there. Just hurry this battle up a little bit.
Stand ready! Take heed, warriors!
The enemy warriors are running! Ha! Run!
Let's turn those archers off because that'll cause unnecessary casualties, and as we stand right now, the battle's pretty much won. So let's just scroll down and watch that duel occur. This is one of my favorite things to do in the first battle because I oftentimes don't get a chance to do it after.
Keep up, friend! Keep up!
Ooh, dirty kick to the face. Now normally I would just stop the duel and he would run away, but it's the first battle and I'm sure you guys want to see a little bit of action. I'm not as confident in my skill as some of the other YouTubers are in this channel, so zoom-ins are oftentimes a little bit more difficult for me. Ooh. Come on, let's finish him off. And there we go. He's choked out, and we are done.
We have killed an enemy general!
That's our first battle amongst many.
Today we humbled our foes. Steel for battle.
Now, most of the time I will go ahead and recruit just because the post-battle loot isn't really that, like, you always get post-battle loot, so ransoming doesn't make a lot of sense. If I'm really short on supplies, like in these new games I might be, then I might do that, but for the most part, having that extra recruitment rate is more appealing than all the other options. So, like it said, we destroyed the army, we completed that quest, and that gives us plus 30 military supplies as well as plus 5 faction morale for the next 3 turns. So these are all just basic missions, and they're going to be fairly easy to complete. We just have to watch, especially with Sun Jian, where we're putting him, because you don't want 2 armies, because then your money tanks, and you don't want to split your forces too far, especially when he starts expanding, because then somebody always comes up the middle. Now, I don't know if I stated this before, but I do play on hard difficulty for both the campaign and the battles. I'm not a guy who can play on very hard. I'm not looking for that type of challenge. This is just one of my favorite games, and I really do like to just enjoy it. Some say I enjoy it a little. I enjoy it on an easier difficulty so I don't have to fight those super hard battles, but I tend to disagree. Especially late game, I usually get more than enough of a challenge. So, Sun Jian also has to do 2 battles in a row. Like, this isn't abnormal for characters, but he has to take this settlement, and it's not part of his starting commandery, which is the unusual part about this. Now, normally, I would not fight this battle, and I still don't think I will. I'll try to keep the auto-resolves to a minimum, though.
Justice still lives.
Now I'm just gonna occupy.
I will be firm, but fair.
Okay, so that netted us 5 public order and plus 25 faction support for, I believe it's all commanderies. Yeah, okay. Now, with Sun Jian Changsha is probably the best starting location in my personal opinion, just because of the total commerce growth that you can get from it. Now, let's go with his specialty building, because not only does it increase commerce by 10%, but the replenishment rate is fairly nice, especially early on in the game. And for followers, yeah, that extra public order will probably come in handy. For my other guys, he has the stone pig, which he always comes with. I probably should have equipped that before the battle. And okay. Now, one of the things that I'm not 100% a fan of, especially after they did the update, is the titles, the title system. So it definitely affects satisfaction, and it takes a heavy toll, especially early game, on your income. And you have to do that for basically every single character that you plan on using, so that they don't leave. So first things first, I'm going to equip a Chancellor, and I always thought that this was a glitch. I thought you had to wait for a while in order to get a Chancellor, but apparently not. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to hold off on the Chancellor, just simply because I don't plan on... I would rather have the income for the first few turns than the extra peasantry income, because Changsha is not going to focus on that really a lot. Alright, next turn. So in the early game, I'm going to try my best to get into as many battles as possible. This is called Man of War, of course, so we're all about the war here. But early game is going to be a lot of just building up the settlement, building up your income, so you can have those supporting armies in order to get into a lot of fights and not get completely demolished, because one wrong move and there goes half your land. So let's just keep going. So I gotta recruit more units. Now, for the most part, I try to keep them with their associated, with the units that'll benefit them the most. However, cavalry is super expensive, and I'm usually an archer-centric person. So let's just slap 2 archers in there. And you know what, we don't have any spearmen either, so I might get 1 unit with spearmen. Now, the old me would have tried to build this place up in order to get a defensive settlement, because after you finish all the base quests, you're gonna get one big option. And you'll see what that option is in a minute, but it either sets you into a war that you essentially should not be able to win, or you bend the knee, and as you know, we're not about bending the knee here. So, I'm not giving up whatever they want me to give up in order to save myself. That's not what we're about here. So instead, I will rather make this location a sacrificial pawn and build up my main base. And next turn. So for the next objective, it wants me to hold 3 locations, and the obvious one is going to be Chibi and Changsha. So a lot of people will move over to Bedong and take the lumberyard. I think that's a big mistake. I'd rather consolidate the commandery and make sure I have the most money incoming. And honestly, the lumberyard's not going to net me enough.
Stay fixed.
Now, I'm not 100% sure what to do here, but I'm going to issue an assignment before it asks me to do it for a quest. Normally, I would raise an army with Cheng Pu. However, I feel like he'd be more I feel like building up the commandery is probably the best idea. Also, since I didn't really explain it before we got into this, I haven't played this game in, I don't know, 4 months, give or take. So the changes that have been made are completely new to me, so I'm looking forward to at least a few surprises. Maybe just in AI behavior, because they may outsmart me. I'm hoping they don't, but we'll see how this goes. And next season, we will be getting a new tech tree element. Alright, so I'm gonna automatically go for the income commerce as well as unlocking my special building. So if I wait one more season, he's gonna be at full strength. And since everything doesn't kick off until I finish these quests, it makes the most sense to me.
A pleasure.
Now, while we're at it, let's take a look at Yuan Shu. Now, he's not very interested in that, but if I support his legitimacy, which will make his head too big, and he's one of the first main characters to get completely squashed in the early game. So, does he have anything I might want? Let's see if that's available. Okay, so he does not want to give that up. Understandable. Instead, let's request some regular payments of, yeah, that works for me. And it automatically boosts his behavior. Now, Liu Biao is not going to like me in the first place anyway. That's okay.
Your proposal is sound.
Alright. So,
Poised to strike.
now I might upgrade. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade that to level 3. Just because I could use a little bit of extra defensive wiggle room when undoubtedly somebody comes to take it over. Okay, so let's get him moving down here. And I don't know why it doesn't automatically take the shortest route if you're not on water, but let's just do that.
The wind is with us.
And you know what? I want to make sure I make it there in one turn, so let's go full speed and then move a little bit closer. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that the Han Empire is already retreating out of there. They're basically nothing. They have a few small armies kicking around, but with their character pool, they'll always have an army kicking around, but they don't really do much. They don't attack your settlements. They don't try to take it back. It's kind of disappointing, to be perfectly honest. Okay. Now, Changsha is like that. Let's upgrade that one more time, since I've got Chengpu in there. Now, before I get too carried away, I think I'm going to put a title on both Huangai and Chengpu. Probably just something that's not going to cost me a lot. So let's go with attendant and orator. Okay, so
Standard stance.
here's where things are gonna start happening fast. Once I complete that first quest, it's also going to complete the quest because I've got Chengpu at since he's already on an assignment. So once that kicks off, I'm gonna have to act fast and race myself back over here. I probably have a few turns, however, it's basically a race back to that place. I don't necessarily have to, but it becomes defending my area a lot a lot easier. Let's just put it that way. Let's move you out of that stance.
Prepare full sails. Resume standard position.
Now, what's kind of new to me is I never realized how much negative supply you had from being on water. Maybe that's a new feature. Not 100% sure, but interesting. It adds another layer to my strategy.
For China.
And they don't really have much, so I'm gonna fight this battle.
May we continue to fight honorably.
Your words are strong. Let your sword be stronger.
Now, fight! Seize victory how...
Now they're gonna line themselves up in a way that benefits them the most. I can pretty much ram through them with both my generals and my cavalry, but they're going to be slaughtered by the artillery towers, so that kind of creates a conflict for me. Best setup I can think of right this second is probably 1 and 1 and 1. Alright, let's go 2 and 2.
Ready.
Gonna set these guys up over here.
Stand by. Action. At the ready. Make ready.
Set one up over here.
At the ready.
He can
Cavalry.
them.
Make ready.
Keep them out here. And then I'm gonna keep him in the middle along with Sun Jian. And hopefully this should be a fairly easy battle. So,
Stand ready.
oh, okay. That's how they want to play it. Alright.
To attention, archers.
Let's do
Fire
that.
upon them. Take heed, warriors.
Now for me, I always get my archers in place first,
Attend. Attack.
and then I move
The
my
time
military.
has come. Take heed,
Might be a bad
warriors.
idea, not 100% sure. But let's just move these guys right up in there. Now I could see if I could just plow through them. Might work, might not. Let's see how this goes.
Steel yourselves.
I am just gonna run Sun Jian right in there. He's basically an unstoppable monster until he croaks via quest.
general needs our aid! Steel yourselves!
Now,
Go, go, go!
I gotta keep this cavalry moving, otherwise we're in big trouble.
The time has
I'm
come!
gonna move him over here.
Stand ready!
I'm gonna move
Double
him
time!
over here.
Full attention! Hurry, move!
Now let's just toggle guard mode. It makes it easier for them to just move through the enemy.
At the ready! Run! Prepare! March at the double! Yes! Faster! Ready! Move! Rally! Our general needs aid! Unleash fury! Fight! Access!
Move my archers into the center here. These guys can come up over here. Now let's cripple these guys over here.
The enemy warriors are running! Ha!
And a swift victory. Alright. Added another province to our commandery. And the commerce income is going to be large for this one.
Heaven smiles upon us.
Now guys, normally my videos are probably only going to be about half an hour, but for this first one, I think I'm going to do an hour, just because there was a lot of introductory stuff that I had to do, and you guys deserve a little bit more action.
We must show how to rule justly.
His future awaits, so Sun Jian prepares. Heroism increase, and we've got our 3 settlements. Now, already sent somebody on an assignment, which automatic success, and here's where things are about to start getting interesting. So on the next turn, I'm gonna hear from, oh god, I can't remember his name, Lu Biao. He's an old crusty person, and should be interesting. I gotta remember not to swear on this. This is fairly new for me. Okay, so already know what assignments do. Thank you. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that was a good idea for me to upgrade that building, because I do want to get this fairly upgraded as fast as humanly
Valor
possible.
illuminates the murkiest
Now,
paths.
here's where I do something that I don't necessarily like doing, because Lu Su is crusty as well, and he's always hated Sun Jian for some strange reason, in my opinion. But maybe he's jealous, not 100% sure. I'm just creating backstory for a character I don't really care about. All he's really good for, in my opinion, is adding to the commerce bonus that I eventually get from this province. So let's recruit him. He automatically comes with 2 archers, so that's going to give me archer superiority basically everywhere. Because I recruited him. Now, he's got 2 basic archers. I'm just going to load him up with some more cheap archers, as well as a... Now, it was always the trebuchet that I went with, but that was before they added the multiple bolt crossbow and the other one. So this time, what is... Oh, they're all the same price. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's just go with 1 multiple bolt crossbow, and then I'm going to swap for another one of the G militia. Now I'm gonna be pretty much broke for the next few turns, but that sets me up for almost a full stack, and that's really all I need for the oncoming battles for the next little bit.
We patiently await your answer.
Let's negotiate. Instead of that, since you might like me now. Let's go. Nope. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna give it to him. Take
Wisdom met by wisdom.
Oh, okay. So my son is now of age. I could have introduced him to the army, but I don't really have a use for 2 vanguards. I like to have a pretty diverse roster when I get into it. So here it goes. I'm plotting a dynasty apparently, and I have to destroy 2 vassals of Liu Biao, which is where this quest starts. Now, I'm gonna read this. I don't usually read these, but I feel like some storytelling is involved here. So, you spy a large force ahead of you, flying the banner of Liu Biao. As you draw closer, a rider meets you. My master, Liu Biao, has heard that you hold the imperial seal. You must return it to the emperor at once, or face war for your thievery. One of your generals tells you of Yuan Shu, one who would be willing to aid you should you keep the seal. Now, I'm already at negative with Liu Biao, and I have no treaties with this man. He just thinks that I'm a thief. He's terribly mistaken. But I don't like giving up my valuables. So I'm gonna keep it. Sorry, buddy. And we are now at war. This was the reason I wanted to have almost a full stack and keep my person in the high replenishment province. So I'm probably going to keep him here for 1 more turn, and then I'm going to try and speed back as fast as I can to Nan, which is where he will inevitably attack. Okay, so we've got Sun Ce is my faction heir. I think it's almost time. No, you know what? It's not time yet. I still don't really need a chancellor. Let's hope that gets upgraded fairly quickly. Let's skip 1 more turn. And here I'm just gonna quick save real quick because I have a bad habit of not saving as much as I should. Save. There we go. Okay. So now it's time to race back. I've almost, they're almost completely. They're not almost completely, but it's good enough.
Setting sail.
Okay. How much farther can I get if I
The
go full
cold
speed?
is
Can
biting,
I can almost get
but it
back
brings clarity to the air.
there. Okay. Next turn. I'm gonna double check with Yuan Shu. Now that I'm at war with Liu Biao, he may be a little bit more willing to go into negotiations with me, but apparently not. Okay. Now, do I receive a marriage? No, because Sun Ce has a special event later with basically his best friend, where they marry 2 sisters. Right. Okay. So, do I have anything to trade? Military gem. Oh, I have. Okay, so I should really start looking at equipping people with stuff. Okay, let's get out of there. Let's go to my court. Let's equip Sun Ce with that, because -5 corruption is huge for your income later in the game. let's get him with the builder, and he also deserves this. He's gonna be a warrior of note as well. He honestly is one of the best duelists, especially when you need to pin somebody down. Great amount of melee evasion and melee attack rate. You just have to get him there though. Okay. So normal stance.
Resume standard positions.
Let's get him into the settlement. And I might recruit. Let's go with one. Do I go with one more G militia, or do I go with you know what? I think I'm gonna go with one more cavalry. Costs a little bit more, but grand scheme of things, it may come in handy. Okay, so let's get some population growth. That'll increase my income over time. Also lower my public order, but hey,
My courage and loyalty
the cost of
lies with China.
the cost of sacrifice, right? And
Consider our offer.
okay. So he wants a non-aggression pact, but he also wants me to pay him for the non-aggression pact. I'm gonna have to say no, because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, you're halfway across the map, and you're probably not gonna live too long either. And I know it's gonna piss off Yuan Shu if I do that, so no. I'm good,
Ever
thanks.
onwards, regardless.
Oh, apparently my power increases. Let's rank up. This is new. Second marquee. Okay, I have yet to see this. Okay, so it looks like... Okay, so I can assign points wherever I need them now. You don't automatically just get a set bonus. So let's get an extra trade agreement. Let's go with an extra administrator. I would also like an additional assignment, and I don't often use spies in this game, so I'm gonna say an extra army, not that I really need it right now. Okay. Okay, so with the extra building here, I'm gonna go with I'm probably gonna need more public order soon. And for right now, it probably makes the most sense. I usually do military infrastructure as opposed to just pure public order bonus, just so I have that extra military should anybody try to attack my main base. So let's go with that. Now I'm gonna try something here, and I don't know exactly how this is gonna work out. It may work out completely poorly, but normally he comes on the water and then he tries to either skirt around me if he can, or he tries to attack this base, which is why I've left it fairly weak. Now, if I can hide in the bushes here, he might try to attack it, and then I'll have my army supporting from the shadows. So let's try and ambush. Not typically in Sun Jian style. He's more of a straightforward guy, but I'm also not him right now. So let's see if this works.
Fire burns brightly and indiscriminately. But no flame can last forever. Starved of air, it chokes, it splutters, and is then
Well, it looks like Dong Zhou is dead.
The tyrant
He hardly ever dies this early.
is dead. Yet in the ashen darkness, the avaricious prowl.
Okay. Now. I don't want to meet him on the water because there's no battle ability on the water. It's automatically auto-resolve, and the auto-resolve is not as forgiving, especially if the balance of power is not in your favor and your people are not at full health. So, here's hoping that he takes the bait. Yes! He took it, but my ambush still failed. That's perfectly fine, considering that he came to land. That was my main concern there. Okay. So let's take a look at the map. Okay, so I'm on open field. That's perfectly fine for me. I've also got not much of a garrison backing me up, but at least it's something. Now, do I want to do that? Nope. I do not want to fight a night battle because that gets rid of my reinforcements. So, let's do this.
Victory belongs to the strongest. Let it be us.
Be swift and smart, and we will see.
Alright guys, so time to set up my troops. I'm gonna go with a standard formation that I have used time and time again. So I'm gonna have the archers up front, pelting them. Absolutely pelting them. Especially as they approach. I'm going to have the bolt crossbow pelting them as they approach as well. So, with these guys, I am going to do there's no benefit to not doing the fire shot at this point. And then I'm going to have my G militia. Oh, you know what? Let's go G militia on either side, just to pinch the cavalry a little bit more. Since I don't have as much cavalry as he does, I'm going to need to use what I have in order to block him out. These guys at the sides will help in the fact that I don't have as much cavalry as him because I can make them skirt around. Let's keep him here. And okay. Let's move Sun Jian a little closer to the back. And yeah, we should be good to start. Now let's move everybody up just a little bit. I want those archers close enough to be
Our reinforcements
on top
are
of
on
the
the
hill.
field.
let's move those reinforcements in. They're going to be exhausted by the time they get here, but should be fine.
Stand ready. Make haste.
Impressive, but foolish.
Quiet now. The adults are fighting.
Now, he has a lot better infantry just overall than me. Who's... Oh, jeez, he's shooting at Sun Jian. Oh, jeez, okay. I didn't realize he had such a wide aim range. Well, that was my first mistake.
To attention. Release.
Now, if they don't want to approach, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm just gonna pelt them with my crossbow bolts until they decide it's time. Okay. Oh, I completely forgot I should not be pausing on a recording. That's my fault, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna bring them around here. Let's just try to skirt these guys as much as possible. Oh, shit.
Stand ready. Run. On me. Move.
Your time is up.
Shut up and die.
I've already messed up. Huge, guys.
Make ready.
Welcome to my channel.
Ready. Our comrade is under attack.
Okay.
Steel yourselves. The time has come. Yes.
I'm very not used to pausing, guys, and I completely apologize for that big pause.
Go on, keep up. I know you can do it.
If only wars were won with witty words.
Over. Stand ready. The time has come. Strike your target.
The enemy unit flees. What cowards!
Fight. Unleash fury. Make ready.
That's... Now that I use Wisdom of the River, this should be a lot easier for my troops to just absolutely destroy these guys.
Ready.
Let's move my giant infantry out.
Take heed, warriors. Run. Horses, stand ready. Steel yourselves. Take heed, warriors. Look, the enemy runs. Craven. Battle. Unleash fury. Horsemen. Show no mercy. Hurry, move.
Sorry, guys, I tend not to talk a lot when I'm going through this. But,
Prepare. Archers ready. Step aside. Do not relent. Make ready. The enemy unit flees. Ha! What cowards! Prepare.
let's slam them in the back of these guys.
Ready. Go, go, go! Steel yourselves. Take heed, warriors. Ready. Kill them. To attention. Fight!
Oh, I did not see him on approach. That's not good.
Steel yourselves! The enemy warriors are running! Ha!
Really?
Oh, get back up, you coward!
Do not relent! To battle!
At the ready!
Okay, so this is not good. I knew killing him was going to cause an issue. Decline.
Make ready! Destroy them!
Decline.
Full attention! Attack! Strike!
Our men flee the battlefield! Make ready!
Let's pull them back out.
At the ready! Horses! Stand ready!
Let's do a 3-prong assault on these guys. Thank goodness my mercenary axemen hold out.
Prepare!
Okay, so now let's take all 3 of my generals and move them over to here now.
Cavalrymen!
Slam these guys in the back of here again. Hopefully it works a little better this time. Again, sorry for the lack of conversation throughout this battle. I'm not very talkative, especially when I'm focusing.
The time has come! Take heed, warriors!
Okay.
Stand ready! Look the enemy run! Ha! Craven!
Prepare! Charge!
Alright, so they've basically completely routed. I just have to finish off that one last general.
Make ready! Strike!
And as you can see, Sun Jian, even after taking the half damage from the bow, is an absolute tank. He finished off the battle with basically no health whatsoever. And that'll net me a close victory. Alright guys, so we've managed to completely repel Liu Biao, which
Justice
in all honesty,
still
I don't
lives.
think I've ever managed in the first battle. Usually it's a little bit closer than that one. And even with my mess up first thing, I managed to bring it back around, so that's good. It would have been really embarrassing had I lost on my first actual video ever. Okay, so do I like him? Not really. Should I execute him? Maybe not. Now, I usually don't end up finishing Liu Biao off. That is my big thing. So, for now, I'll just take the income.
They fought and lost. That is enough.
And recruit, because I need
Offer
it.
trust to be rewarded with loyalty.
Alright guys, so we have successfully repelled the forces of Liu Biao, and we're almost at that hour mark. So for now, I'm gonna sign off and say see you next time. But be sure, if you like the content, subscribe. I'm brand new to YouTube, obviously, so nothing I do is scripted right now. Everything I do is going to be edited and recorded on my own. Again, this outro is messy. I'm still working on it, guys. So if you want to be part of the war, come back to the channel. I'll have at least one video posted every week. And hopefully you'll be back for part 2. So thanks everyone for watching, and goodbye for now.